Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today's March 13, 2023. We're going to talk about XRP today and try to take note of what occurred in the price for XRP following the SVB debacle or collapse, the financial institution that went belly up, and the Federal Reserve had to come in and try to reassure the depositors of that bank that their money is going to be fully backed. Now, let's talk about this because over the weekend, there's been a lot of speculations, hypotheses, theories about how this thing's going to be played out. Of will the depositors, those who have uninsured funds in SVB, if it was actually going to be backed? Will the people who had their money in the bank be able to get their money out? And apparently over yesterday evening, the Fed Reserve came out with a statement saying that yes, everyone's going to be fully made whole. No one will be losing their money if they had it deposited in SVB. And that's kind of reassuring, seeing the fact that Ripple CEO, take a look at this from Cointelegraph. About 11 hours ago, the title reads, Ripple CEO assures strong financial position despite SVB collapse. Now, timing is very important because over the weekend, so many people did not know how this was going to play out from Friday to Saturday and then through most of the day on Sunday. CEO Brad Garlinghouse sent out a tweet yesterday evening, right there at 4:14 p.m. March 12th, 2023. So throughout the whole weekend, majority of the weekend, he didn't come out with any statement, any tweets, any reports, any updates saying how exposed Ripple was regarding SVB. But he waited until Sunday evening to state this one tweet right here, setting the record straight. Ripple had some exposure to SVB. It was a banking partner and held some of our cash balance. Fortunately, we expect no disruption to our day-to-day business and already held a majority of our dollars or cash with a broader network of bank partners. He didn't disclose how much cash was in this bank. He waited until the majority of the weekend was over before he even let the investors, those who are involved with XRP and Ripple, that everything was going to be cool, that you don't have to worry, that there won't be any disruptions. Why would he send out this tweet towards the ending of Sunday? Because he was waiting for something to happen, and that something was the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve Board announced it would make available additional funding to eligible depository institutions to help assure banks. Look at the wording. Assure banks have the ability to meet the needs of all their depositors. That is why Brad came out with this tweet. Now, I told you the time was around 4:14 p.m. This release was at 6:15 p.m. Isn't that a coincidence? Because Brad already knew that he was going to be fully backed. The money that he had in SVB was going to be theirs. They wasn't going to lose it because he knew about this release that the Federal Reserve was going to create a program that all the depositors of SVB and other banks was going to be fully recovered. They won't lose any of their cash. But prior to this release, prior to the Federal Reserve creating this program, Ripple was probably in some dire straits. And if the Fed did not create this program, the market would have gotten more information about how involved Ripple was impacted by SVB going under. Because take a look at this article again. Now you have the Chief Technology Officer, David Schwartz, had promised on March the 11th that the company would release a statement on its Ripple exposure. Although it is not clear that the tweet that Brad was going to do yesterday evening was what he had in mind. It's too many questions and not enough answers. Would you want to know how much money Ripple had in this bank? Because if it was a lot, then that could have definitely impacted Ripple and their daily operations. But probably we'll never know. But nevertheless, it impacted XRP's price. Take a look at the chart. Right there, the market traded down. And then towards the ending of yesterday's trading action, that's when the Fed came out with the program and the market closed up there at the high of the bar because people felt reassured. Now, you guys can see it on the chart. I'm already kind of bearish into the market in XRP. I'm not massively bullish. So even though we saw a phenomenal move to close out yesterday's trading, nothing really hasn't changed. You guys can even see it now that Ripple is down 2.7% in today's trading action. So let's take a look. Look at this on the weekly chart. A lot of volume came into the market in Ripple over the last week, right down here. Market closed off of the high of that weekly price bar. So it still tells me that the majority of the price action was people selling. Okay, now, like I told you on my prior video, which was produced on the 10th of March, 3 days ago, that I'm not massively bearish neither. You guys can see I'm not looking for a crash in XRP, maybe 34 cents, 32 cents. Really consolidate and trade within my two lines. So that's it. I really want you guys to understand that he understands, and I'm talking about Brad, he understands that he has to assure investors, people who have bought XRP, people who are investors of Ripple, that he cannot create any questions, any animosity, any worries about the stability of Ripple, especially while they're in the midst of this XRP lawsuit with the SEC. He cannot create that environment. So for him to wait the majority of the weekend to come out with a tweet and saying that there will be no disruptions, you shouldn't be surprised that he created that was released at the end of the weekend once the Federal Reserve created this program. Now, could there be other issues, other dominoes to fall that can make Ripple or Ripple as a journal of business become more effective? Because as you can see from his tweet, he stated that they have a broad base as to where their cash is located in these banks. They have a broader network of bank partners. Okay. What if these other banks continue to show weakness? Will the Fed have to create another program? Because this particular program right here is only for $25 billion as a backstop. That's it. $25 billion. Is that going to be enough to contain this contagion? Because not only did SVB go under, we have Silvergate that's in issues that pretty much went under. You have Signature Bank just yesterday announced that New York was going to take over the bank. And now you guys can kind of see First Republic. So a lot of these banks, a lot of these smaller size banks, regional banks is going through some issues. Will that $25 billion that the Treasury has set aside as a backstop, will it be enough to contain this contagion? We'll see. But give me your thoughts, because I'm not going to change my price prediction, which was produced on March the 10th. So I would recommend you guys go back and check out that prior video to see my targets. But that's all I got to say. Give me your thoughts. Make sure you maintain your profitability, and as always, trade different.